Well, hello, you guys. Welcome to your lesson for the day. We're going to be looking at lesson 1.3, and we're going to be in Amplify. Your warm up today is for you guys to look at the modeling tool. And that modeling tool, you are going to explore and try moving the molecules around the body to show your ideas about what happens inside the human body. So, you're going to spend just a couple of minutes trying to move the molecules around the body, seeing what happens inside the body, and press hand in when you're done. Okay, so if you look right here, you can click on this part of the lesson. When you finish, your sheet that you upload will end up being down here. So when you click this button, it will look like this. And you're just going to move those molecules around to where you think they go in the body. And then you're going to go up here and you're going to hit, yours shouldn't say update. I'm going to reset mine so you can see what it says. Up here at the top, it is going to say, I think it's take a screenshot or something up here, and it will take a screenshot and put it onto your original page. Now you'll need to refresh the page in order to get that to show up for you, but make sure that it does before you move on. So I'm going to click over to part 2, and I'm actually going to go back to our slideshow. So we're going to go on to activity 2, which is about reading molecules or reading cells molecules need. So what you're going to do is in the sim that you guys just did in 1.2, we observed that um, in a healthy body, cells get certain molecules from the food in the air. So we're going to review over some of the words that we saw and some of their definitions. The first one was molecule. So a molecule is a group of atoms joined together in a particular way. So we see that in chemistry, different atoms joined together to make a molecule. Then we have glucose. Glucose is another one of our vocab words. It is a molecule that organisms can use to release energy that is made of carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen atoms. And you can find these vocabulary terms on the divider tab that Ms. Serrata will give you, or I will give you, if you haven't already gotten it. You also saw oxygen. Oxygen is basically a molecule that organisms get from the air or the water around them and use it to release energy. We also had amino acids, and amino acids are just molecules that are the building blocks of proteins. So if you want to make a protein, you need to build up amino acids. So today we're going to learn a little bit more about those molecules by looking at an actively reading article or looking at and actively reading an article. So let's first look at an example of an active reading article. So if you look at this one, they have annotated it. Now you're going to be doing this in a physical copy that I have given you, and you are going to annotate it as you go. So you're going to highlight it. You can write different things in it, but this is an article that has been annotated by a student. So if you look at it, they put some notes in here. As they were reading through, they found one of the cross-cutting concepts. So they marked the system, which is a cross-cutting concept. They marked some vocab words. They also put a question in here. How long have scientists studied the microbiome? So they added some of their thoughts in here as well. They also connected two parts of the reading. Interaction, here it talks about what happens during one type of interaction, and it also talks about what happens between microorganisms as they interact. So those connect together. They even put a nice little question right here above the picture. What is the scale of this photo? Well, it doesn't tell us, so good question. And they even down here at the bottom, just to mention one other thing, they told what the big idea of this entire paragraph, or not paragraph, but this entire section is all about. So you're gonna want to do those kind of things as you read. So now that we just talked about or what annotations are, you're now going to read the article Molecules Cells Need. Reading this article is going to help us to investigate more about why Elisa is feeling so tired all the time. So I've jumped back over to Amplify to part 2 so you guys can see what we're going to be doing. So you want to think about and carefully read, pay attention to your own understanding as you do it. As you read, you're going to annotate, make a record of your thinking, highlight those words that may be challenging, add notes, record questions, make connections to your own experiences because you can connect it to your real life. Examine visual representation, so any pictures or anything that you see, consider how they connect with the text. And then after you read and discuss what you have read, with others. So you can talk with your group about it and see kind of what their thoughts and come up with some other ideas. So here's your version of what we're reading, Molecules Cells Need. I'm going to read that for you. When your body is healthy, it runs so smoothly that you probably don't even notice it without thinking about it. You can't get up in the morning, or you can get up in the morning, breathe, laugh, dance, grow, fight off diseases, and live your life. But what makes a body healthy, and how does it stay that way? In a healthy body, all the systems work together to make sure that every cell gets the molecules it needs: oxygen, glucose, and amino acids. Metabolism is the body's use of the molecules for growth and energy. We need to breathe in oxygen molecules from the air around us to keep our bodies alive. Our bodies get other important molecules such as amino acids and glucose from the food we eat. Amino acid molecules are the building blocks of proteins, and we get them from protein rich foods like beans, meat, and eggs. When we get glucose molecules mainly by breaking down foods that contain starch, such as fruits, vegetables, and grains. The oxygen, glucose, and amino acid molecules you get from the air and food are the fuel for your body and the fuel that you need to function every day. Without these molecules, your cells can't do what they need to do to keep your body healthy. Many medical conditions cause problems because they can keep these molecules from reaching your cells consistently. Make sure you check out those visuals and make sure you add your notes to your paper copy. So I jump back into Amplify so you can go ahead and see that I would like for you guys to share one of these annotations that you made with someone at your group. And on your article, I want you guys to put hashtag share and circle what you have shared and discussed. So, a couple of questions you should ask yourself as you read this article, and notice that I've gone back to the PowerPoint to give you guys a little bit more direction. One of them is, where does the body get the glucose from? Where does the body get amino acids from? How about oxygen? Where does it get that from? What do you think could happen if the human body doesn't take in one or all of these molecules, and why do you think that is? If you need to, be sure to make sure that you discuss this with one of your partners in your group or one of your group members, or have a quick discussion about it to see what your answers are. Make sure you also discuss where does the body get glucose molecules, amino acid molecules, and oxygen molecules. Um, let's see, I'm going to skip a little bit further and we're going to go on to activity 3 now. So in activity 3, you're going to be modeling a molecule in a healthy cell. So before we can diagnose Eliza, we need to understand a little bit more about what's happening in her body. So we're going to use a model to show what molecules are found within a healthy cell. So you're going to use that digital model or tool named the Metabolism modeling tool. Scientists often do this to be able to share their ideas with others and maybe get a little bit better understanding at a bigger scale. It's kind of hard to see things that are at the microscopic level, so they make it a little bit more macroscopic. So they blow it up, I guess I should say, so that they can see it a little bit better. So you're going to go into Amplify and you're going to click this modeling tool here. And remember, it's going to show up as a screenshot down here. You'll just need to refresh the page. So your modeling tool is going to look like this. And you should drag the molecules in that are going to be found within a cell. You may want to drag some things in. They're going to be at the beginning, and you're going to want to drag some things that will be coming out at the end. So you're going to want to drag some of these little molecules over here and tell what's going on. Okay, so one of the key concepts that we have covered today is a functioning human body has molecules from food, and those molecules are glucose and amino acids, and molecules that we find in air, oxygen, in its cells. Now we're going to move on to activity 4. So in activity 4, we have a letter that's come to the medical students from the doctor. As you know, we're trying to diagnose why Elisa Rodriguez is so tired. We are running some tests on her, and we also asked her to keep journals to record her eating and her sleeping patterns. We want to know if the cause of her problems may be lack of sleep or she's not eating the right foods, which I think you guys probably mentioned before. We've just received the first set of evidence from Elisa's journals, and we need you to evaluate the quality of this evidence to see if it can help us understand what's wrong with Elisa. If the evidence is not high quality enough, we may not be able to use it. So keep in mind, evidence is higher quality when it is based on more data because there can be more confidence in the patterns we see in the data. The more data you have, the more you can trust the patterns that you see. That's going to help you to evaluate the evidence. So you're going to have a gradient you're going to look at. The things that are higher quality evidence are going to go on top. Lower quality evidence is going to go on the bottom. Remember, it's all about having enough data. And what you're going to do is you are going to take a practice round. As you can see, I've jumped back into part 4. And in part 4, you have 2 evidence cards. Just read over these 2 evidence cards and decide which one of these with your partner is the better or higher quality evidence. Remember, it's based on how much data you have. Then you're going to move on to lesson part 2 of part 4 of the lesson, so card 2. With your partner, you're going to examine these cards that you have to look at, and you're going to discuss if there's low quality evidence or high quality evidence and figure out why she's feeling tired. So if you click right here, this is actually going to bring you to the sorting card. Now we have 3 claims. Because she isn't getting enough sleep, that's why she's tired. She's not eating enough food or the right foods, or she has a medical condition. Those are our 3 options. So you're going to go through these evidence cards and you're going to put the ones on the top that are higher quality and lower quality will be at the bottom. Make sure you hit the hand in button, and then when you go back to Amplify and refresh your page, it should be right here for you. So we're going to go back over to section 5. And in section 5, we're going to be evaluating the claims and having a little discussion about Eliza. Okay, we're going to go to the first 2 pieces of evidence that we have. Remember, we have 3 claims. She's not getting enough sleep, eating the right foods or enough food, and has a medical condition. So if we look at these 2, many scientific studies show that most healthy teenagers will get 8 to 10 hours of sleep each night. Eliza's journal shows that she's getting about 9 hours of sleep every night. So, does this evidence support the claim that Eliza is not getting enough sleep? Well, it looks like she's getting enough. She's getting in between 8 and 9, which is enough for an average teenager. So that may not be the problem. Let's look at the healthy eating comparison. So the average teen gets in this study that we've done with 1,000 healthy, or that they've done with 1,000 healthy 14-year-olds, they found that they eat between 5 and 8 servings of starch per day and between 1 and 2 servings of protein every day. So if we look over here, Elisa says she's getting between 6 and 8 servings every day, which is about what an average teenager gets, and between 2 and 4 servings of every day. Well, does that fit the claim that she's not eating the right foods? So that probably we can't claim that as her tiredness. So it looks like what we have left is lack of sleep or poor eating habits. So we're going to go on. That's not well, I guess I should say that's not explaining her tiredness. So now we're going to look at a medical condition, since that is our 3rd claim. Now we're going to go into the part that is a should do. So the homework assignment, and for this activity, part 6 of your lesson, you are going to think about the size of the molecules and respond to a few questions. So you'll hop into your lesson in part 5, and I apologize, that's actually part 6. So you're going to go into your lesson and you're going to place these molecules in the order that you think they are, from the smallest on the top to the largest on the bottom. Put those in order and then tell me why you think so. Then you can check out this scale tool to see what's going on with sized things that are different sized that can actually be found in the human body. Guys, you're going to want to check this out. It's actually pretty interesting. So you have the scale tool here, and you can scale up from some small objects all the way up to very large objects. You can scale it up and scale it down so that you can see those different objects. So check that out. So part 6 and 7 of this lesson are going to be part of your should do's. So if you have a moment, you can answer these questions in your should do section of today.